The talk of San Diego.
Hey, this is Johnny, and you are back. No, you're not back. I'm back. And you are listening to The Talk of San Diego. And you know what? We have another phone call we're going to make here, see if this technology is going to work. We're going to try to get a hold of our buddy, Mr. Steve Rossi. And if you don't know who Steve Rossi is, that's O-R-O-S-S-I. Google him up and see what's going on, because he's got quite a little resume going on there. So we're going to try to give him a call right now, see if this works. Whoop, I hear the phone ringing. It's ringing down the road. Here's Mr. Steve Rossi. We're calling a little bit early.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Steve Rossi.
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm having the time of my life. How about yourself?
Good. We're up here in Idaho, and it's beautiful, and having a good time.
Hey, is this a good time to talk?
Yeah, we can talk.
All right. Hey, so what are you doing up in Idaho?
We came up, Rich Little has a home up here in a little town called Fish Haven overlooking Bear Lake. And we came up to spend a few days with him. And we also are involved in a celebrity pro-am golf tournament. And we're setting it up for September. And
you are an avid golfer yourself?
Oh, yeah. In fact, because yesterday I just barely missed a hole-in-one by 5 strokes.
Oh, there you go. And you set a record for that, right?
That's exactly right. And Rich played with me, Rich Little. And on the first tee, he said, "What a gorgeous day for golf. I wonder what the poor people are doing." And his caddy said, "We're carrying your club, Mr. Little." So we always have fun, and we do our little jokes out on the golf course.
Now,
and we hug each other every time we get a birdie. And every time we shoot a birdie, we hug each other. But we're actually shooting real birdies.
Right. So give the listeners just a brief who you've golfed with over the past.
Oh, through the years, I golfed with a lot of celebrities because I host a lot of celebrity golf tournaments in Los Angeles, San Francisco, in Lake Tahoe, Reno, and Palm Springs. I host about 6 or 7 a year. And I've played with everybody from Hillbert Humphrey to Tom Jones to Pat Boone to Trini Lopez. In the early days with Sinatra, with Dean Martin, with
Bob Hope.
Howard, in the real early days, Bob Hope at the Bob Hope tournament. And more recently, I've been headlining the Frank Sinatra Golf Tournament in Palm Desert. And so we've been having a great time. And I've played with most of the golf celebrities. And a lot of golf pros. And
presidential people?
Played once with President Lincoln.
Right.
And we had a great time. And
he played with kind of a whippy shaft, though, in the later years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he had trouble seeing the ball because of his beard. And he looked down, he could just barely see it. But, I wrote a golf routine that, for Rich Little, that, where he played, Bill Clinton, because Bill likes to play golf a lot. And we did a whole golf routine with him. So we're out there having fun playing golf, and we ride out in his boat on the lake here, Bear Lake, which is huge. It's about 27 miles long and about 17 miles wide. It's quite a long, and it stretches from Idaho to Utah. Actually, it's 86 miles long by 18 miles wide. I had the wrong dimensions and everything.
And at nighttime,
I imagine. Great time. And beautiful view here.
And at nighttime, I imagine the stars are just as clear as can be.
You can't believe it. You can see all the galaxies and the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, the Cheese Dipper, everything you can imagine.
Now, are you still writing? Are you still writing comedy as much as you did in your earlier career?
Actually, I'm writing more. I'm writing Rich Little Ragtime, a whole new version of The Presidents, and also performing with him. I do The President, interview with him, and then I open the show for him. I also open with co-star with Becky Avalon, Bobby Rydell, every once in a while with Engelbert Humperdinck, and I wrote his comedy and his act, and I wrote the material for the Golden Boys, Frankie Avalon, and Bobby Rydell, and Fabian.
Exactly. A lot of one-name people. A lot of one-name people.
Yeah.
Fabian and Dion and Noah and Abraham.
Noah and Abraham were two of my favorite comedians, and they wrote the comedy versions of the Bible.
Right, down-to-earth guys, from what I understand.
Yeah, and so I just have a good time, and I just wrote a brand new Broadway musical comedy called "Is There a Doctor in the House?" Sort of a takeoff on Dr. Phil, a musical comedy version of his show. And then I just wrote another show, which is a takeoff on America's Got Talent, which is a really hilarious show with 4 characters. And just keeping busy. I have a movie script called The Wedding of the Year that's with a couple of producers right now. I'm waiting to find out if they're going to do it or not. And just hoping for the best at the age of 79.
I heard it was 82, but I'm not going to dispute that. Do you like being in front of the camera, writing? What do you like best, if you had to choose one?
I actually like performing because I've become quite a experienced stand-up comedian, and of course I write all my material for my stand-up, and I'm a singer as well. I had a couple of hit records, The Shadow of Your Smile, and Indian Southern song called More, the theme song from Wanda Connie. I did it in a movie as well in 11 languages, and I do concerts, and I do nightclubs and comedy clubs, and I keep busy for a guy my age.
And your humor, the jokes that you write, are they mostly one-liners, or are they a little bit of a story to it, 2 or 3 cents?
I'm a story, because I'm very good at doing accents, Jewish accents, German, Italian, French, so I mix it up quite a bit. A lot of them are one-liners, like I went to the bank yesterday and I asked the lady clerk to check my balance and she pushed me. And a lot of... And then there was a guy that evidently a Catholic gentleman that was in the lobby of a hotel and with a friend of his, and he evidently had heat stroke or whatever, he passed out, and they put him up, seating up on a chair, and they called around asking if there was a priest in the area, and there was no priest, but a Jewish rabbi was there, and he says, "Let me do this. I can do this. I know all about the Catholic religion. I know I used to live next door to a Catholic church. I'll take care of this man. You just move back, please." The guy is sitting there, is still unconscious. The Jewish rabbi puts his hand on his head and he says, "Oh, 64, B14, N39, bingo." I usually get a big laugh immediately on that joke, but I had to keep stretching it out till you got it.
Now, I got out the grief for it here. Now, the material that you write for others, how is it when it doesn't quite go over? Do they blame you? Do you blame the delivery? How does that work out?
Well, they can never blame me, even though I wrote it, because before I even give them the material, I try it out. You know, like if it was for Bobby Rydell and Frankie Avalon, I'll try the jokes out with Sandy Hackett because we work together quite a bit. He has a comedy club where we can break in material whenever we need to. And so when they get the jokes, they already know that they're funny. Like I wrote a fight routine for him where I say, where Frankie says to Bobby Rydell, who plays a fighter, punch drunk fighter, how many fights have you had? He says, I have 100. How many did you do? 100. He says, how do you explain that? He says, you can't win them all. He says, you fought Muhammad Ali? He said, yeah. Do you remember the first round? He said, I remember it vividly. Why do you remember the first round so vividly? Because it was my last round. He could describe what happened when the bell rang. He said, I went to the center of the ring and I threw a right cross, and I threw a left uppercut, and then I threw a right uppercut. And then what? And he said, Ali came to the center of the ring and proceeded to knock me down 7 times. He knocked me down 7 times. Well, how do you explain that? He says, 7's my lucky number. Anyhow, you know, we try all the jokes first, and once we know they work, then I put them in the routine, and when they try it, they already have the confidence of knowing that it works.
And away you go.
You know, when most writers write material and they don't try it, they just say, I think this is funny. Well, thinking what's funny and knowing what's funny are two different.
Exactly. Hey, can we take a break real quick, and then we'll be back and tell people where you're going to be and some of the other stuff that you're involved with?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Hey.
I'll be in a week. I'll be back in a week.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break.
Stay on the line.
Yeah, we're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back. And when we do, you'll be able to tell us what's going on. In the meantime, you're listening to the Talk of San Diego.
My name is Vishnu, and during the show, I will be taking your phone calls, instructing you on how to unsubscribe to this podcast. First, you will need a very large mallet and a bucket.
If you're tired of watching fuel prices keep going higher and higher with no relief in sight, then you owe it to yourself to call the folks at SaveOnGasMoney.com. SaveOnGasMoney.com can cut your fuel bill by up to 30%. 4-cylinder, 6 or 8, gas or diesel. So next time when you fill up, if you hate seeing those numbers just keep on spinning and spinning, give SaveOnGasMoney.com a call and start saving up to 30% on your fuel bill. Ask yourself, have you ever seen the fuel prices go down? Neither have we. For more info, go to SaveOnGasMoney.com.
I am so glad they repealed Don't Ask, Don't Tell. It's not that I'm gay or anything, but after all, I'm British. I do like to dress in pearls and high heels from time to time.
It's true we have a gentleman's agreement, but unfortunately, I am no gentleman.
Nobody move! Stay where you are, everybody! What is it? I have to go to the can again. I don't want to miss nothing.
Hey, and we're back, and you know who my guest is today? Mr. Steve Rossi, and you were partnered up with a gentleman named Marty Allen for quite a while, weren't you? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, good. All right.
That was a short break. I guess it was a short commercial.
Oh, yeah. It was a commercial for the world's shortest bedtime story. You've heard that before, right? No.
Yeah.
Hey,
absolutely.
let me ask you, you know, you've got a book that I was looking at. We'll get back to Alan and Rossi in a minute. But you gave me a book when we ate lunch a few weeks back, and it was about an inch thick, paperback. And on every page, I was crying, laughing at all of these jokes. And you told me one that was while we were at dinner, and it was, hey, I want to thank all the virgins out there. Oh, this goes out to all the virgins out there. Hey, thanks for nothing. And just where do you come up with just the snappy one-liners like that? And has it been all your life?
Yeah, it's been all my life because the actor is Marty Allen. I was all one-liners. And I would say to Marty, when a woman is desperate for sex, what do you recommend? And Marty would say, B210. B210, that's a vitamin. Marty said, no, it's my room here at the hotel. So it was basically one-liners. And I think that's what separated us from all the other comedy teams.
And like the B210, was that kind of like, hey, you saw that coming up Main Street? or were they all completely a surprise?
No, I just, when I was thinking of writing comedy lines that involved Marty and me, I did that.
And do you do mostly topical, or just it could be funny this year, it could be funny 20 years ago, it could be...
Most of the material I write, with the exception of mentioning specifically political humor, like, an Obama joke, it's usually a joke you couldn't use with Clinton or other presidents, but...
you could rehash the joke, like when you told it when Lincoln was around?
I could switch jokes around, like somebody was talking about Lincoln assassination. He says, so he talked for about 3 minutes about it, this historian, and he said, were you there when this happened? Because this guy was around 95. He said, yeah, I was there when it happened. I was just a little boy at the time, but he said, well, we've heard enough of the assassination. How was the play?
Now, when can we get this book? This aforementioned book that I was talking about.
The book is called Steve Rossi's Joke Book. Joke Book for Wannabe Comedians.
How to be a comedian, basically.
And for wannabe comedians. Yeah, how to be a comedian. And I give the various instructions on how to be a comedian, assuming you're not embarrassed to be in front of an audience. And, because everybody is sort of a wannabe comedian. Every time I go out, my fans that recognize me, they say, did you hear this joke? Did you hear this joke? So I always got the feeling maybe I should write a book for, non-comedians who think they're funny or would like to learn how to be funny. And I think this book is the answer to that challenge.
Now, as far as other comedians go, or a person that comes up to you and tries to tell you a joke, do you appreciate that joke? Do you find humor in other people's jokes, or say, I just have my own sense of humor and that's it?
No, I would say my sense of humor is universal, and that's how I write my comedy. Because I think almost any joke that I wrote and any of the jokes that you saw in my book, if you translated to German or French or any language, you'd find out that they were funny. Because funny is funny if you know how to set it up so that it can be translated and identified.
There you go. Can I try one on you?
If you do.
Can I try one on you?
Absolutely.
Okay, I had heard this one the other day. A guy goes to the doctor, and it seems he had a growing out of his forehead. And he said to the doctor, he said, hey, doctor, can you do something? I said, he's got this growing out of my forehead. And he goes, well, let me examine you. And he examines him, and he gets all done. He goes, well, I've got some bad news for you. And he goes, what's that? And he goes, well, there's nothing I can do for you. He says, there's nothing you can do for me. Well, what do you mean? Every morning when I wake up and look in the mirror, I'm going to have to look at this on my forehead? He goes, oh, no, don't worry about that. He goes, after a while, will cover up your eyes.
Cover it. Yeah. I remember that joke. It's very funny, but it's not appropriate for your listeners.
Well, we can always...
This was the entire listening audience, 48.
All 48 of them.
No, it's a funny joke. It's a funny joke.
There you go.
You know what I must say, though? It's obviously on your... is it on radio or is it on...
We're on blogtalkradio.com.
Oh, okay. But anyhow, my feeling about comedy, because I try to work clean as much as possible. But I also believe what Buddy Hackett said, and I'll try to do his voice. Buddy once told me, she said, Steve, if it's dirty, it's not funny. And if it's funny, it's not dirty. So that joke was not dirty because it was funny.
There you go. And I didn't say any crude words.
I primarily try not to use any kind of blue language because I work for a family audience basically and generally have. And I like my jokes to be funny to a universal audience. I mean, Woody Allen has a specific audience that appreciates his type of humor, and Jack Parr had his audience, and Jack Benny, and when your humor can be utilized on an international basis just by being translated. I think that's the best comedy you can have.
Right. And who did you admire? Who did you look up to?
Well, strangely enough, one of my favorites, although his language was Richie Pryor. I thought he was hilarious. His delivery, and basically he was talking about his life and the way he imitated white people and Chinese people and telling his stories was hilarious. And then I love Jackie Mason because of his use of language, to reverse psychology. I never liked you when I liked you. You're the kind of a person I should never be around because this is a kind of a thing that I don't like her. If I like John Kelly, but I don't like him that much to even do an interview on his show. Steve Rossi doesn't care because he's not working that much. That kind of like.
And since I've seen him when I was growing up, when you're doing that, I picture him in my mind, and I'm sure half of the 24 of our people in our audience are going to think the same way, that while you're doing that, they're thinking of Jackie Mason.
Well, I was going to say, by interviewing you today, you tripled your audience from 24 to about 100, but actually you probably will have hundreds of thousands of listeners in the future because they want to laugh, and I have the ability to do that. And
you're doing a comedy karaoke program in the future. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, we're going to do it on television, and we have a commitment to do it on radio as well. And I'm also going to be opening up a series of comedy karaoke clubs, where instead of reading the lyrics to or singing the lyrics to a song, you actually do a 1 minute or 2 minute comedy routine that are all tried and true, and anybody can get up that wants to be in front of an audience and read the jokes, and it's their delivery and personality and everything which they'll get a laugh, but they have better delivery and better personalities and everything, they'll get a bigger laugh.
And is it on a teleprompter? Or do they have to
be on a teleprompter, or it can just be on cue cards.
And is it something?
Series of 8 or 10 jokes.
Is it something that they get to practice ahead of time, like people that do karaoke? They get to practice that song at home, or is it just here you go, there are the jokes, and away you go?
Just go up there and read it and do the best you can. And usually it's even funnier than the jokes themselves because they're nervous or they have they're twitching or they're not sure of themselves, whatever it is, and it's amazing the kind of reaction you get.
Yeah, because I could never go up there reading your jokes for the first time blind. I could never do it because I'd be laughing more than the audience.
Well, if that's the case, then you'd be, the audience would identify with that as well.
I guess.
As long as they heard what the joke was,
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule up in Idaho there on that big long lake, enjoying the weather. And Rich Little is there, and I certainly hope that you give him my best. I enjoyed his show that I saw a month or so ago back at at the Riviera. I certainly enjoyed it.
He's so fabulous. He's the greatest impressionist that ever lived, and he's the one that started it all for the Danny Ganses and the Woody Brown and the Frank Gorson and the rest of them that have followed in his footsteps.
And when will you folks be coming back to San Diego or Las Vegas and performing there again?
We'll be back in Vegas next week. We just headlined at the Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. We have an offer to go back to the Riviera, and also we are working on a deal with the Tropicana right. So hopefully you'll be in town, or I'll remind you so you can come.
All right. Can we give it one more try?
Absolutely.
Okay. Guy goes to the psychiatrist, and he says, Doc, he says, all night long I hear this song.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it!
If you're tired of watching fuel prices keep going higher and higher with no relief in sight, then you owe it to yourself to call the folks at SaveOnGasMoney.com. SaveOnGasMoney.com can cut your fuel bill by up to 30%. 4-cylinder, 6 or 8, gas or diesel. So next time when you fill up, if you hate seeing those numbers just keep on spinning and spinning, give SaveOnGasMoney.com a call and start saving up to 30% on your fuel bill. Ask yourself, have you ever seen the fuel prices go down? Neither have we. For more info, go to SaveOnGasMoney.com.